Hey everyone, welcome to 7-Second Respawn. I'm your host, Nick. Today we're going to be talking about just pure gaming news. I want to do that. I want to make this a little bit more regular, at least weekly. And I hope you guys actually stick it to me and make sure that I do it weekly and give you my opinion on what's gaming news and what actually matters. I do have a biased opinion in a way. I think every YouTuber out there does. Anyone that says they don't, well, they're lying. What I'm going to be covering is most likely Sony-related events, Blizzard-related, Call of Duty, a little bit more mainstream stuff. But I appreciate games for a very different reason than a lot of people. I appreciate them for actual production values and development of the game and advancements. Call of Duty is actually really failing me. The last 3 games, this one probably just being the best just because they have different camos and different ways of unlocking, which I was really happy about. But more importantly, gaming news. The big thing that is huge right now is Sony announced their PS4. Of course, everyone's in a hubbub, what's good about it, what's bad about it. Is it going to be amazing, is it not? What is Microsoft going to say? What's really going on with all that? I personally watched the actual Sony event, which was pretty good overall. It was actually a pretty entertaining event for how long it was. I think it was almost 2 hours or something like that. Ridiculous amount of time. I didn't catch the end of it just because I didn't care to watch the games. A lot of those games I'm not going to buy. A lot of those games I don't like. And of course, they're just trying to show off the power of them, so it's all about graphics. And to be honest, a lot of games, when they do that, they usually lose my interest. Because they usually lose storylines. There are exceptions. There are a lot of great looking games that are still great storylines, but for the most part, in the first year, or not, I shouldn't say, the first few games that come out with a new console, they're all just designed to be pretty, show off a few peripherals, whatever. I care less. I'll probably buy one just to have a game on it, if that. But what's cool about it? Well, number one, and probably the biggest, is speed. Everything in this system is designed to be up in gaming as fast as possible. No loading screens, no cut, none of that BS. All real-time stuff for the most part. Of course, they're going to have cinematics. Let's not lie to ourselves. But one of the features that they talked about briefly was, instead of actually powering down your system and after rebooting, re-logging in, connecting, all that BS, they basically said you would press the power button, it goes to a sleep mode, and they then use the 8 gigs of DDR5, which, in layman's terms, is a whole lot of fast stuff going to be going on. And what happens is it reboots it, uses that RAM to instantly get you back where you were in your game, which is really, really cool. I mean, that doesn't sound like that's important. There's been save spots before. There's been, quicker logins. But when you think about that, that's usually about 20 or 30 seconds, if not more, maybe to a minute, where you're not playing. And that really kind of gets tedious, because usually I'm impulsive. Like right here, I decided to play like probably 5-6 games, just get on for the night, and just knock it out. Normally, if I had to wait a minute or whatever, it's already a minute of, kind of tedious, like, okay, I gotta log in, do this, sit here, go there, and it already starts to turn me off from jumping on my PlayStation, or at least Call of Duty, unless I have a new fun game. And, so that's just gonna speed that up. Moving on to, what's new with the controller. Well, luckily the controller actually has kind of stayed the same for the most part. It doesn't look like they changed the dimensions too much. They said they fine-tuned, the responsiveness of it. They sped that up. They said they want to make sure the trigger controls for the R2, D2, L2, L1, you know what I'm saying. The L buttons and the R buttons. The aim and shoot buttons. They said they wanted to increase the responsiveness of those, make sure they're very easy to use and kind of felt right as triggers, which I'm really happy about. Again, that's gonna be good. That's one thing I did not like about the DualShock 2. I think it was DualShock 2. Was DualShock 3? Correction. Oh no, you're gonna get me. Is the 2 buttons you had to press all the way down? I really didn't like that. Hey, look at that! I ruined the video. This is in theater mode, by the way. Sorry about that. If it doesn't look just right, or if it's lagging a little bit. Things happen. So, Sony as a whole did do a lot of great things. I think the one thing that people are kind of that listened to but didn't understand how powerful it was. And the one thing I appreciate the most is they went to developers to design their actual console, not to have them design it, but to see what they wanted to get out of a console, what they needed to create great games. And that's going to be extremely powerful. That means these companies have the tools, or at least have their input, to create the tools they need to make amazing games. And because of that, better games can actually come out for the system. People believe that that's what happened with Sony prior to with the PS3. That's actually not true. There has been reports saying that they intentionally designed the system to be difficult to program for, so that people, there'd be only great games on the PS3, which fell through. And to be honest, that was bullcrap. Through and through, that was bullcrap. All right, had some technical difficulties right there. Actually, they were technical. My child was crying. I like to try to record at night when they're not being loud, obnoxious. For all the parents out there, yay! Shut up. You all understand. So, back to what I was saying. Sony, being the wonderful Sony that they are, they also announced about their retail games. What's going to happen with backwards compatibility. Sadly to say, they're not going to do the backwards compatibility when it comes to actually hard disk. This doesn't come as a surprise. Anyone that believes that, oh, what's the worst thing ever? Face it, it's business. It's one of those things that they're not going to make money off of. People are going to play those games instead of buying the new copies of them for $10 on PSN or whatever. It's never going to change. So I'm sorry, it's not going to happen. Luckily, what they did say is you, as a disc owner, so you buy a disc, and you can take that disc, any PS4, and play that disc wherever you go. So it means you can resell the game, you can sell it, you can buy it from GameStop, all that fun stuff. Now, that was one of the concerns going into it. There was rumors that they weren't going to allow that. Well, it's not true. It was a bunch of false BS. And so lucky that's going to be, that market's still going to be alive. And I know I buy a lot of my games used. Cheaper's better, especially in a time, with the economy being down. So, that's, that pretty much covers up all of Sony for the most part. The games were flashy. There was explosions, pretty particles. They have a GPU and a CPU that does that's way overclocks and has a lot of power and yada 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 yada. You guys don't care. It's all technical mojo. It's gonna be a great system. A lot of great games are gonna be made on it. I hope next time that you join me again. We're going to talk about probably anything that's new at the time. I want to cover some more games, individual games, what I think about them, stuff of that nature. I want to do some guides and actually try to talk about individual guns or strategies that I use that are not just cookie cutter, that you won't find mostly on YouTube. Those little trade secrets that a lot of better players actually use to get the higher scores. I want to go over stuff like that. If you have a certain question that you want to ask about games or Blizzard games or WoW or all those different series, feel free to ask. I have no problem covering it or researching it for you. And I will be coming out with a lot more WoW footage for sure, just because I actually started to play again. I took a long break off and I'm getting back into it. So, well, thank you so much for joining me. Sorry for the little delay in the middle, and overall, that's how it's going to be. It's not going to be scripted. It's not going to be anything like that. I want it to be free motion. Just, me and you kind of talking in a way. Me talking to a mic and you guys kind of listening. Whatever. So, alright. Well, thank you so much for joining, and I'll see you next time. This is Nick at 7 Second Respawn. Take it easy. Bye.